I'm 28 years old and single, and I'm super anxious and overwhelmed with trying to date. And I don't understand what love means. Is it something that you can only know once you've experienced it? And can I finally figure out what it all means and find true love? So asking people is a lot harder than I thought it would be. I didn't think I'd be this stressed, but here we are. It's funny because I say I don't give a crap what people think about me, but then also I do a YouTube video, and all of a sudden I become the most reclusive person in the world, and I don't want to talk to anybody. Is true love real?
Oh, yes.
I believe it.
I think it does exist.
Yeah, I agree. I think it exists. I don't know. I don't found that yet, but
I do.
I don't even know. I try to work at it all the time, and I keep failing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
And why do you think that?
Sometimes it takes a while to find it, but I think this is my second time around, and when you know, you know. And the first time I knew I didn't really know, but this time I just do.
I think it can exist in many different forms and very different, like with a dog or with a partner or with a family member or with friends. I believe it exists in many different forms, or nature or anything. I think true love exists.
Like you really have to work at love. It's not like just not like love at first sight. Everything's amazing.
it started out real, but it took a lot of work to get to here.
Well, you change based on the needs of your partner because you put them before yourself. So those needs change as we get older, and things in the family change and all that stuff.
After a lot of trial and error, we have figured out what the true meaning of love is. And it's taking time to get to know someone, and never, ever, ever lower your bar or settle.
You have to invest in yourself so that you make your own worth, that you're ready for the person that you dream of.
So invest, dude. Does that mean like crypto or no? Probably not.
Like love crypto.
Love crypto. There we go. That's the answer.
Just a feeling in my heart, and she said yes, and everything else has been 43 years of bliss.
I think it was, I just knew there was things about him that we were on the same page. So we didn't know each other for very long. We only knew each other for actually 17 days.
Whoa.
When we had met.
That's true love defined right there. 17 days.
It felt great at the beginning while I was doing it, and then when I realized maybe they weren't reciprocating the same love, it was not so good. Now I'm working on it. I mean, I feel like love has to be over a period of time to understand it or to kind of have it, not just that initial lust feeling that you feel, right? You got to actually, be there for that person, loyal to that person, get the love back, and then that love matures into like one thing as opposed to just individual love.
With me, anyway, it was just a matter of there she is. I didn't have any question once I met her.
And I don't know how you know that you're the one. I think, again, you just make that decision and then make it continually. It's like we made the commitment. We will now abide by it. We'll live by it.
I think it's just like the connection of like intimacy that you can have with them. Because for me personally, I have had relationships where I have been like intimate with them. They've been my intimate partner, and then I've also had friendships that have had like the same sense of intimacy. That's like, it's not like a physical, it's not the same like romantic, attraction, but it's still like I'm able to have like that safety. And so I think just having that safety and love and compassion for someone is like, that's what love is about. I think I felt like I have been, but then the relationship ends and you're like, no, I wasn't.
I would say at the time I would say I was in love. Looking back on it, I don't know if that's the kind of love I would ever like to have again, though.
I mean, I was engaged, so I was, ready to go all in, and then obviously it did not work out. But
man.
Yes, I have been in love.
Yeah.
I have had that before.
It seems like love kind of is like subjectively different depending who you're with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of hard because I feel like love's kind of subjective in that way, where it's like you kind of are trying to figure out like what love means, but it always means something different to somebody else. So like that definition switches up all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, like especially like even if you think about like your friends and family, like you love different people in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
With like the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. I feel like it has to be kind of a combination of all of the different ways that you love someone.
Yeah.
That was good. That was deep.
Yeah, that was good. I got chills, man. There's a llama in that van over there. Did you guys see that? That's a freaking llama, guys, in a van. Let's ask more about love.
The amazing part is that sometimes when you have made covenants or promises to God, then sometimes those things the questions aren't there anymore because you both promised things that you would do. And so I knew that about him. So that was what I felt really good about moving forward, because I knew that he had made the same promises I had.
And you're going to have differences, right? And you have to work through those differences, right? Be selfless, and if you're not selfless, then that's not really love. That's more selfishness and lust.
It has like a lot of sacrifice. Like I would give like my shirt off my back for my friends, like automatically any day. Like I love them no matter what. But I feel like for a guy, you have to find the right person that you would kind of balance the two. You want them to be your best friend too, and love them the same way you would love your best friend. But it's also completely separate.
I think it can be different for everyone. I personally have been in love with a man, and he did not share those same feelings. And then I was like, well, all right, I guess I'll just move on with my life then, and was really sad and heartbroken. I have yet to find what true love for me with a man in that significant relationship looks like for me, but I have felt those feelings for a man, but I feel, like I said, I've also felt the same attraction and intimacy with other people. Just it might look like something different. It might just be a different form of it, if that makes sense.
Right. It was just a feeling. There was something before I even spoke to him that told me, there's something there.
Was it the muscles?
That was a little bit to do with it, but truthfully, it was his big, fat, loud mouth.
I didn't find it. It found me, and it's standing right here. And like I say, it just happened. It wasn't a feeling I didn't know. It happened.
Well, with me, it was, let's get married tomorrow. With her, it was, let's wait a little while.
Yeah. There was a feeling of completeness because we didn't need each other yet.
No. We both had our own lives. I was in the military and she was a school teacher, and so we both had things going on. But once you meet somebody like that and you know that that's who you want to spend your life with, what's the point in putting it off?
You have to compromise with your significant other, but if they piss me off, it's oh, whatever, they're my best friends. So it's who cares?
Forgivable.
But yes, but there's different scenarios. Stuff that we struggle with is going to be different than you struggle with a significant other. You have to find it in you to forgive your significant other. I feel deeper than you do your friends, because it's oh, whatever, but it's also you trust every part of you trust with your significant other.
We made a decision that on our anniversary every year we'll have a goal, and so this year our goal was communication. So it's something to work on. I think if you talk about things and continue to work on things, then you grow and change together.
We kind of had that conversation earlier this afternoon about change and has the magic worn off, and we both agreed that the magic hasn't worn off, and it's still like it was when we first met.
Don't force something to happen. When it's real, it just happens.
And don't settle, Zach. Don't settle.
Never. I never settle.
The more I love myself, the more I meet the person who's going to love me and really get me and connect with me and understand me. And we know, because we did too many wrong ones, and then we decided it's a choice to love ourselves. And then it came.
Once you learn yourself enough to be able to open up to love, then you can accept it and give it, and then grow, like you said, together with loyalty.
And these next clips of the interviews, I felt were really speaking to me.
It's so different now compared to what it was before, when it was butterflies and flowers, to where now it's a need. Like you said, that I need to be with him.
Future would be tough if you were alone. To go out looking for love, I don't know that you'd ever find it, because you'd have expectations that aren't going to be met. But just the idea that when we did meet, I knew right away that feeling was different than it had been with other girls I dated.
And we were so young. I think
you were young. I was 18. No, I was 17.
I think that it's harder now, because as our younger friends, they're like what you said. It's harder to meet the right person. You've got the dating apps, but they're so precarious. It just doesn't seem to be as easy. At 28, I think it's harder. You have more fears. I had no fear. This would work. Of course it would work. Why wouldn't it? Now you have reality.
Yeah.
a different reality than what we have.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a huge part of our life is our faith in God, and we share that. And if it wasn't for that, there'd be times that when you don't get along, that things would be different. But because we share that faith, we both know that we have the same goals. We work toward that.
We are surrounded by people who believe in marriage.
Yes.
And if your parents are divorced and if your brother's divorced, I think it's just the reality of it that this wouldn't necessarily work. But you just have to decide every day. It's not a feeling. Because there are days when I don't like Bob. There are days when I don't like me.
I was going to say that.
You don't like me?
I was going to say the days I didn't care for myself.
But you stick with them because we made that commitment.
You have to put yourself in position to find someone, and then just be yourself and see what happens.
I would say don't give up. Everybody's journey is a little bit different, so I'm not sure what yours is, but right now you're feeling like you haven't been able to reach that goal, because obviously that's was something that you would love to have as part of your life. So don't give up. Keep doing all the right things, going to places where you can meet people, and don't be out interviewing people on a night. You should be somewhere else.
I just got burned. I should be on a date right now, not interviewing people. Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You have to know yourself before you can ever be really truly in love. So you have to truly be in love with yourself first, and then you attract the person who's at the exact same vibration of love that you have for yourself.
Dang, that cuts deep. Oh, you're a medium?
I feel you. I know more than
Okay.
what
Well, what vibes am I getting off?
What kind of vibes?
Yeah.
So I do spirit guide readings. So whoever is around you, like your angels and your ancestors and your higher self, where you're guided. And they send me messages. I feel like you're really sensitive. I think you're highly sensitive. And I think you think you're too sensitive, and that's why you can't find true love. Because I think you think no one's going to love me because I'm kind of weird. Because I
am different than other men
are.
Yeah.
People aren't going to get me.
Prototypical man
is
supposed to be.
Yeah, I went to school for art and illustration, and then I'm doing YouTube as well. So it's like, I feel definitely different than the macho guy that's on the street, you know, where it's like, yeah, I work the 9 to 5 and I come home and grind for my love, and it's just like different.
But you know yourself, right?
Yeah.
You know that this is your authentic self.
Yeah.
Then you need to just hold on to that and be patient for the person that's looking for you, not you looking for somebody else that doesn't suit who you are.
There's no two halves make a whole. It's two wholes come together and they're better. And your false belief is that you're flawed. And so you think, when I'm perfect, when I fix these things that I see as broken, then I'm going to meet the perfect person, and they're going to think I'm perfect. And it's never going to be that way. You're a human having a human experience. The important thing is that a relationship ebbs and flows, just like the energy, and you have to change. We change all the time. I mean, we are constantly figuring stuff out about each other that we didn't know.
You're not responsible for anyone's happiness.
Right.
You're responsible to treat them in a way that they would like to be treated. You're responsible for having love and compassion in your life for your relationship. But you cannot be responsible for someone else's happiness. They have to be in a position where they can be happy.
Remove
they
the
have
fear
to.
of someone else's reaction or someone else's view of you. You know, there's self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-image. Yours have to be lined up, and then you don't worry about what anyone else thinks. And the right person comes and loves you wholly for all that you are. So never think you have to be perfect or fix anything flawed. You're not flawed.
Because you'll be perfect for the perfect person. Marina's perfect for me, although she never feels perfect for herself, because she's always striving to change and learn and grow. And same thing for me. I never feel perfect inside myself, but I know I'm perfect for her. And together we have a perfect relationship because we understand and trust and believe in each other.
And I wrote a book on this, so most of us go into love based on what we saw. So think about how you go into dating or how you are in a relationship. It's based on how you saw your parents or your grandparents. And so we have to let go of all of that programming and make up our minds to do what we want to do differently. But it's in there. It's in our subconscious. So we got to let that go and say, no, I'm going to do this different and change those ancestral things that we do or the generational things. My family, nobody got divorced. Everybody was married and they were miserable, right? Stayed together for years and years. I was in a miserable marriage before him, and I said, no, I can't do this. I can't sit in this marriage for 50 years and be miserable. So I had to make my mind up to say, I'm doing something different, even though the expectations of others doesn't look like that.
You got to get to where you're happy with you. That statement alone says you're not fulfilled inside, and say, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of me. I'm who I am. I love who I am. And if you're single at 40, that's the right choice for you. Because you don't want to be tied to a person that isn't perfect for you, right? She doesn't have to be perfect. She has to be perfect for you.
Your family doesn't have to live with your partner. You do. And your desires should come first. Your desires have to come first, and it's not selfish. And I bet you no one's ever told you that that's the truth. Is it's not selfish to just do what you want to do, because you have to be your best self in order to be with someone, to be your best self for them. Oh, I would feel so great if I had a partner. I'd feel so great if I was in love. It's like we've been taught you're not whole unless you're with someone, unless you're married, unless you're in a committed relationship. And that's where we go wrong, because then you get in that relationship, you didn't fill that void for yourself. That person can't fill that for you, and you can't fill that for someone else. Like, we have to make sure we fill those things for ourselves first.
She's not responsible for your happiness. You're responsible for your happiness.
Check out my podcast, I Never Knew, and it's everybody talking about their struggles, their stories, their pain, and how they overcame it and how they're better for it.
I'm going to plug that down in the description below. Let's check out our podcast. So after all this, I think I've learned quite a bit about love. I mean, I still don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I at least feel like I have a better idea and direction of where to go. Love isn't the solution to all my problems, but it's part of life and it enhances it. So as for me, I'm going to keep trying my best to figure this whole love thing out, and I hope that these interviews somehow helped you as well. Let me know in the comments if you like this, and I can keep doing it. I'll find out if true love exists for myself eventually.